The number 2 ranked college football team and the number 1 ranked most annoying fan base in college football will travel to Penn State this weekend. This is a new game on Fox. Ohio State 16-point favorites. Over under is 61. Brian, coming to you first. It's a noon game, so we don't get a marquee night game matchup, but should be it's always a good rivalry game. How do you see Penn State and Ohio State going down this weekend?
Tell us how you really feel, Andy, about the Buckeye Nation. That was really good. But, you talk about night games. Penn State obviously played a primetime game last week. They surprised me a little bit with the 45-17 win over Minnesota. My only loss in college football on Saturday. Give the Nittany Lions credit for taking advantage of Minnesota's quarterback situation and bouncing back from the loss to Michigan, where they gave up over 400 rushing yards, just completely run over by the Wolverines. And it's obviously going to be a much tougher defensive task for the Nittany Lions this week than it was against Minnesota. Buckeyes putting up almost 50 points per game, 54 last week on a good Iowa defense, and it easily could have been more had the Buckeyes not settled for 4 red zone field goals. But of course, the Buckeyes got a defensive touchdown in that game and also allowed a defensive score, which was Iowa's only TD. Scary as it may seem, and I don't expect a lot of people to like this one, under would be my recommendation here. If you take away the defensive scores last week between Ohio State and Iowa, just 50 combined points scored. Penn State, they had just 17 against Northwestern and Michigan. James Franklin has to know he cannot win a shootout here, so he's going to try to slow the pace down offensively. The Nittany Lions, they're just middle of the pack in pace anyway. And here's a really surprising stat about Ohio State. I don't know where they officially rank in annoying fan bases, but I do know that they are 110th in pace. So hold your nose. Take the under on this one. Fade the recent trend of 5 straight overs for the Buckeyes. I've seen some sharper books move, Andy, from 61 down to 60.5.
Nice. It's a huge spread here, Steve, and for good reason. But they are going on the road. What do you expect from this Big Ten matchup?
Yeah, just for you, Andy Lang, I wore red. I'll give you a Buckeye. And for the fans out there, Andy, you need to relocate. It is Halloween, so you can wear that. By the way, Boo31, great promo code at WagerTalk.com. Boo31, go check that out right now for 31% off any All Access this weekend. I like where Brian's going with the sneaky under, and obviously it is a sneaky under because Penn State has actually gone over in 5 of their 7. Ohio State has gone over in 5 straight, 5 of their 7 as well. But yeah, last week's game is really interesting. I mean, this team only had 300 and some total yards. Of course, Iowa gave them 6 turnovers. I mean, I've been doing this for 26 years. The Iowa Hawkeyes have the most extreme dichotomy between a good defense and a bad offense that I've ever seen. They're averaging less than 4 yards per play on the season now, but holding teams to about 4.5. And keep in mind, Michigan went in there and put up 20-some on that Iowa defense a few weeks ago when they were allowing just 6 in the season. Ohio State, 54 last week with a lot of help, obviously, with turnovers. But because of that, this total is probably inflated. And another good point that Brian made is some of those international books that are very sharp with totals early in the week. And when college football over-unders are moving early in the week, it's probably not public action. Does have a sharp lean to the under in this game. We talked about also pace with the Tennessee and Kentucky preview that we did here, the 3 of us. Check that video out as well. And yeah, Penn State cannot get into a track meet. No one can get into a track meet with Ohio State except for maybe Tennessee. And it's not going to be the case. And I think the home dog here, as opposed to maybe Kentucky on the road at Tennessee, the home dog has a better chance of controlling the tempo and trying to run the ball a bit. This Penn State team does average 5 yards per carry, 179 rushing yards a game. So might be a sneaky under. I like where Brian's going with that one, and I wouldn't disagree. And it looks like there's some sharp action on it as well.
Great stuff from Steve Merrill and Brian Power. Both are available to grab all their picks at WagerTalk.com. Don't forget to download the WagerTalk TV app. Good luck with all your bets. Let's have a profitable weekend.